I am here today because I work with people with disabilities. I have found my life's work in providing services to help those of us who are at a disadvantage develop and maintain the most amount of independence that they can and really provide meaning in their life. There is a waiting list for every single program that is available. There's not enough funding to go around for anything. That includes finding beds for residential. I know in Western New York alone, there's 1,000 people with developmental disabilities that are waiting for residential services, basically a slot or a bed to have in a group home or an IRA, an individualized residential or assisted living. They're job coaches. We don't have enough job coaches in order to provide meaningful employment for people with disabilities, getting involved in the community and making a difference and making those natural supports and connections, which are important in the community. We don't have enough job coaches to get people hired. We have services. We have a 2-year-long waiting list just for the program that I'm part of in order to get people out into the community to socialize. I know it sounds kind of frivolous, however, it's really important to develop those natural supports in order to then phase them out of services, and then they can have their own friends that they have developed. And sooner or later you would hope that goes along with helping someone grocery shop to taking someone to the doctor to just psychological wellness, having friends and a social life. There's parents, everything from parents or adults who are living with families or even homeless people who have disabilities, not being able to find residential services as homelessness. You have issues with burnout from caretakers, from parents, and everything else. It's very, very important. Helping people develop their own sense of independence, finding apartment settings for them. That's going to go without. If they lost funding, or there isn't the same amount of funding that there is, but we're not going to talk about more funding. We're talking about just cut in funding. There's a serious issue with people just literally becoming institutionalized. It's so much more expensive to have someone stay at a group home than it is getting involved in habilitation services and living in their own apartment. So we need the funding. Dear Mr. Governor, we need these services. It is your job as the governor to protect the weakest of us, and people with disabilities are the weakest. They're at the most disadvantage of, not finding employment, not being able to live full and meaningful lives, and the services that you are cutting from cutting this funding to the OPWDD is going to cut services that provide funding for people to live in their own homes and have meaningful lives in the community. The fact that you have given $50 million to the Tonight Show or the Late Show or whatever it is as a gift just to come back to New York, whereas you cut $90 million of vital services to people with disabilities, is appalling.